At Chevron Phillips Chemical, we aim to be the best in our industry. A place where people want to work and a supplier customers prefer. We want our communities to welcome us and our owners to invest in our growth. We're on a mission. Deliver
Inferno at the Phillips Chemical Plant. 575 safety violations ignited hell on Earth. In the heart of Pasadena, Texas, a catastrophic event unfolded that would forever change the way industrial safety is viewed. It was October 23, 1989, and the Phillips Chemical Plant, a massive facility in the Houston chemical complex, was a ticking time bomb. The plant, sprawling across a busy industrial area along the Buffalo Bayou, was a high-tech facility, at least on paper. But beneath the surface, it was a place where safety regulations were treated more like suggestions than rules. Welcome to Horror Funk Town, when we love to talk about lack of safety regulations that make pretty good YouTube content. The Phillips Petroleum Company, which owned the plant, had a reputation for cutting corners. Instead of relying on their highly trained employees, they frequently hired subcontractors who were less skilled, underpaid, and lacked basic benefits. These workers made about 65% of what Phillips employees earned, but the cost savings came with a deadly price tag. The day of reckoning was about to arrive. On that fateful day, workers were performing routine maintenance on Reactor 6, a towering structure designed to produce high-density polyethylene, HDPE, the plastic that fills our everyday lives in bottles, containers, and countless other products. The reactor, standing 150 feet tall, was a behemoth filled with a volatile mix of chemicals like ethylene, isobutane, hydrogen, and hexene, all heated to a searing 230 degrees Fahrenheit. The reactor operated under immense pressure at 600 psi, making it a potential powder keg. The maintenance tasks seemed straightforward. Clear the clogged, settling legs of the reactor, a procedure that was supposed to be done with the utmost care. But in the chaos of the plant, priorities shifted and the procedure was left incomplete. The workers believed they had locked the system safely, but a critical error had occurred. The air hoses controlling the valve were identical, and in the rush, they were connected in reverse. The indicator showed the valve as closed, but in reality, it was wide open, allowing the reactor's volatile contents to escape. A sudden hiss filled the air as the reactor violently expelled 85,000 pounds of highly flammable gas into the plant yard. Workers, fully aware of the impending disaster, ran for their lives. 2 minutes later, the world exploded. The blast was so powerful that it registered 3.5 on the Richter scale, equivalent to the force of 2.4 tons of TNT. The shockwave tore through the industrial park, sending metal shards and debris flying like deadly missiles. The initial explosion was just the beginning. As flames consumed the plant, they reached 2 massive isobutane storage tanks, each holding 20,000 gallons of flammable liquid. The resulting explosion was apocalyptic, creating a firestorm that engulfed everything in its path. The heat was so intense that it caused another polyethylene reactor to fail catastrophically, leading to a series of explosions that rocked the facility for nearly an hour. Firefighters rushed to the scene, but they were met with an inferno that defied control. The explosion had destroyed much of the plant's firefighting water system, forcing them to use alternative sources like nearby cooling towers and the ship channel. Despite their best efforts, the fire raged on, its intensity fueled by the massive quantities of flammable chemicals stored throughout the plant. For 10 grueling hours, firefighters battled the blaze, trying to prevent further destruction. But the damage was already done. The morning after, when it was finally safe to enter the plant, search and rescue teams found a scene of utter devastation. The remains of 22 workers were discovered near Reactor 6, with another worker succumbing to injuries later in the hospital. In total, 130 workers were injured, with 35 hospitalized, including 5 in critical condition. The explosion caused an estimated $715 million in property damage, equivalent to $1.73 billion today, and another $700 million in lost income. OSHA launched an immediate investigation, and what they found was shocking. Phillips had ignored 575 safety violations, many of which directly led to the disaster. The company had implemented procedures that lacked backup safety measures, creating a situation where a single mistake could lead to catastrophic consequences. The identical air hoses controlling the reactor valves were a design flaw that made it easy to connect them incorrectly, leading to the deadly explosion. The investigation revealed that Phillips had long been aware of the safety issues, but had chosen to ignore them. U.S. Secretary of Labor Elizabeth Dole condemned the company, stating that the tragedy was magnified by clear evidence that the explosion was avoidable if recognized safety procedures had been followed. She also pointed out that Phillips, like many companies in the industry, had prioritized profit over safety by hiring less skilled subcontractors to perform dangerous operations. Phillips Petroleum Company was fined $5.7 million for the safety violations, a record at the time. However, in a settlement, the fine was reduced to $4 million, with Phillips agreeing to implement OSHA's proposed safety management procedures across all its facilities. These procedures, later codified in federal regulations, revolutionized safety standards in the petrochemical industry. Despite these reforms, Phillips's safety record remained tarnished. In 1999, another explosion at the Pasadena plant claimed the lives of 2 contractors who were burned to death by molten plastic. The following year, yet another explosion occurred, further tarnishing the company's safety record. It was clear that despite the fines, despite the regulations, and despite the lives lost, Phillips had not learned its lesson. The Phillips Chemical Plant disaster stands as a grim reminder of the consequences of neglecting safety in the pursuit of profit. It's a story of how 575 ignored safety violations culminated in one of the worst industrial disasters in U.S. history, a day when a company's reckless disregard for its workers' lives led to an inferno that could have been prevented. This has been another deep dive into the darker side of industrial history, brought to you by Horror Funk Town. If you found this story compelling, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of tragedy and horror. Until next time, remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we create ourselves.